Check my YouTube channel, subscribe, and share.
Welcome everyone to Kimberly Speaking podcast, and today's special guest is Mr. Rashaad Johnson, motivational speaker and author of Identical Contradiction and Cage Dream. Welcome, Mr. Rashaad.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, we're so glad to have you on today. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I am a superhero. Many people don't know that about me. I, and when I say that, it's my mindset. Like, I really believe I can do anything. I really believe there's nothing that I can't do. And so that mindset has helped me out a lot in my lifetime. But I was born and raised in North Carolina. At an early age, I actually loved speaking. I enjoyed speaking. It wasn't just the act of speaking; it was the act of sparking different thoughts in people's minds. So I enjoyed that from an early age. So I grew up in North Carolina, went to college, graduated, got a degree in IT, then pissed off my whole family because I decided I wanted to go in a totally different field. I turned down a job in IT and decided to take an unpaid internship, and me and a few guys got together and started a group home for underprivileged teens. And so I ran the
Okay.
group home for a while. That was I loved helping people, and so that's what I wanted to do. So I did that for a while. I feel like I've lived about 3 or 4 different lives. So did that for a while. Went in corporate America for years on the IT and sales side, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. So now I'm doing speaking and writing and coaching full time. So
Okay.
that's where I am. That's one alter ego outside of the superhero.
Okay, so that sounds very interesting, and I'm glad that you mentioned the book because I wanted to, dive into debunking the myth of code switching and becoming your most authentic self. So tell us
Right.
a little bit about that.
So this book was sparked literally from me sitting in a board meeting one day. I was at work. I was sitting in a board meeting, and somebody made a stupid joke, and I laughed at it. And then I got mad at myself because I'm like, wait, Rashad, why are you laughing? That's not even funny. Like there's nothing funny about it. It was stupid. It was corny. It was dumb. And I got mad at myself for real. And I started thinking, why do I do that? Why do I, why am I attempting to fit into this place? Why am I attempting to
Oh,
conform to the standards of other people so they feel less threatened or they feel more comfortable? And so that started a long process of thought. I'd had some of those thoughts before, but that was the catalyst for this book. And from that moment forward, I decided I'm just going to be me. I'm not conforming. I'm not going to talk like you want me to talk. I'm not going to act like you want me to act. I'm not going to behave the way you want me to behave. Now I'm going to be professional. I'm going to get my job
yes,
done, but I'm going to be me,
definitely.
whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
You're going to get all of this.
Okay. That's really good because we do find ourselves doing that, adapting to different environments or whatever type of people we're around, kind of trying to fit into that environment per se. So that's really good that you brought that to light and kind of makes people think about it because while you do want to, be in those environments, you want to be yourself. You want to be your
Mm,
authentic self. So I think that's very important.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what do you think is the biggest obstacle that most people face today when finding their authentic self and then being their authentic self? What do you think hinders that?
I think I'll say the biggest obstacle, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is people don't know who they really are. And part B is they don't know how to find that person. And so a lot of my book talks about taking people back to who they really are, to their core, and starting from there. It's like sometimes you can, I'll use the analogy of a house. Sometimes you can see a house, an old house, and it's not what you want it to be. And you can go in and make some changes and make some renovations. But sometimes you just have to tear it down and start over. And
Yeah.
so my book it goes through a process of really getting people back to the core of who they are. Like, who are you without the influence of what everybody else says you have to be or what you should be? Who are you at your core? What do you really like? Not what everybody else like, not what's popular, Who do you really portray when it's just you alone by yourself? And I'll say with me, I've learned to walk in that. I've learned to exhibit that. So, quick example, and this is just part of me being me. But what happens is if you allow yourself not to be you in certain areas, it starts to bleed over into other areas, and so it's your whole life. So, for example, and I would say almost every woman that I've had a serious relationship with, I'll go back to when I was married. So I was married at one point in time. And when I was married, I remember my wife one day coming in, and we were about to go somewhere. And she was like, and I'm sure most men that I know can relate to this. She was like, babe, are you wearing that? And I said, yes, I'm wearing this. She's like, I don't think you should wear that. Well, I was like, well, baby, I do. This is what I want to wear. And we had this big discussion on that. And she was like, Rashaad, nobody wears that anymore. And I was like, babe, I don't care what nobody wears. I'm wearing it. I like it. So I'm going to wear it. And she was like, baby, please do not. And I said, babe, listen now. I'm going to wear it. She was like, it's not in style. I was like, I don't care. I like it and I'm going to wear it. And that's me to this day. And the clothes is just an example, but that's me. Like I guarantee you can come in my closet right now and be like, so you wear that? Yeah, I think it's fire. So I'm going to wear it. And so, but I realized, and some of the stuff that I wear may be hideous to some people. I really don't care. Like I'm still going to wear it because I like it. But it's part of me being authentically who I am. It's part of me being me. Now, understand, there's certain times you have to be careful of what you wear, of course, when it comes to, is this appropriate? Is this appropriate?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This time or location or event or whatever. I understand that. Like I'm not going to wear, my swimming trunks if somebody invite me to church, but there's a part of me.
Hope not.
Yeah, you want to hope. You want to make clear with that, but it's just one aspect of my life. But I realized it was the beginning to me understanding who I am, who I really am, and living life on my terms. And that's what I just want to teach people, to learn who you are at your core and be that.
Yeah, that's a very good example because when you look today, a lot of people wear, what's popular, what everybody's wearing, and I'm one of those. I'm like you. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. Now, it may not be something that's, old or whatever, but I just kind of have my own unique style. I wear things that I like that I think, look good on me. And it may not be popular or trendy, but I don't really care. Like I'm who I am. I think I've always been like that, and I think that is a very good indicator of you being your authentic self because you're not trying to fit the norm. You're not trying to fit, do what everybody else is doing or wear what everybody else is wearing. Like
Right.
I've never believed in that. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'll buy certain things if I like it, but I'm not buying it because other people are doing it. I have to genuinely like it to spend my money on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know that you mentioned, turning down a job in your field to pursue an unpaid internship with a nonprofit. Do you have any regrets doing that today, present day? Are there any regrets about doing that?
No. I learned so much and that. So my first real job out of college, I can say, was really entrepreneurship. And I don't have any regrets because it was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the most emotionally draining thing I've ever done, but it was the most rewarding job that I think I've ever had. Like I work with the section of kids that basically they sent them to our program. The judge said either you go into juvenile or you go to this program for 18 months, your choice. So that's where they were. All of them had committed crimes. All of them had done stuff. They had made mistakes. And so these were young boys from the ages of 10 to 17. And I learned so much about me during that time. I learned so much about business during that time. It was a great fit for me because I love to help people. And I don't shy away from the population that everybody else kind of ostracizes. And this is a population that everybody else was just thinks is no good, or they're just criminals. But those are my people. Like that's who I was drawn to. And so I don't have any regrets at all. I learned so much. And I'll tell you, this, amongst so many other things, made it worth it. So it was a bunch of hard-headed boys that came through there. There was a bunch of them that tried me. When I say tried me, like we were at the stage where these boys were, a lot of them had anger issues. And
of course.
Yes. And sooner or later, they were going to try you, because especially the male staff. Female staff, no. The male staff, they think, I'm just as big as you, or I'm bigger than you, Mr. Johnson. And I welcomed it. And I taught my staff, because I was the manager of everything. I taught them, like, listen, it's going to happen. Like, they're going to try you. It's
inevitable.
It's better that it happens sooner rather than later. Just go and get it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and we had to just let them know, okay, yes, I know you bad, but we're grown. Okay, there's a difference. And so the most rewarding thing out of all of that was, one day I got an email years after I left the group home. And this email said, Mr. Johnson, I just want to let you know that I'm graduating next week, and I want to thank you, because without you, I know I wouldn't be here. He was like, I know I probably gave you more problems than almost everybody there combined. He was like, but you taught me a lot. He was like, I was listening. He was like, I know it didn't seem like it all the time. He was like, but I was listening, and you helped me out tremendously. And I just want to thank you for saving my life and getting me back on the right track. And so that email brought me to tears, because it was just like,
I can imagine.
I was able to reach out to and really impact. And so that made it all worth it to me. And there's several other stories I have like that. But for me to be able to help someone like that, especially young men, especially young Black men, to me to be able to help them, it made my life so fulfilling. It was a great sense of fulfillment. So I don't have any regrets. Now, I understand I could have been a lot further along in corporate America. I could have made a lot more money, but no, I don't have any regrets for that. That was where I needed to be at that point in my life.
Yeah. Wow, that is awesome. I can only imagine. And like you said, this is a group of people that, society tends to throw away, to ostracize, but they need help. They have a need. And do you feel that as if that you're called to that group, the younger, young adults, the younger adult males, rather? That's
Absolutely.
really good. That is so good. That is so awesome. That is so awesome.
Even now, like with what I do, a lot of my speaking, the majority of my speaking is at colleges and universities. Still helping young people, still at that, and it's that slightly different population.
Yeah.
It's these people that are about to change their lives forever. They're about to walk into the workforce. They're about to become grown in their minds for the first time. Like, they have so many transitions that they're going through. And most of them have no idea what's really waiting for them on the other side. They think they know. Like I did. I thought I knew everything.
We all thought we knew.
No, I'm not 18. I'm 21. Like, I know this. I'm legal. And most of them are clueless. And so that's the population that I still like. And even the high schools and middle schools, I still love talking to them, because I don't want to say it wrong, but I feel like they aren't lost yet. Like, if I can catch them high school, middle, they're still impressionable. High school, it's borderline with some of them, but they're not.
It is.
And so I still enjoy that population. Now, I speak to adults, I speak at conferences, I speak everywhere, but that's still the population that has my heart.
That is really good. It's so funny. Like, I'm gonna need you to stop doing the interview. Like, you are literally talking about my next point. I'm like, okay, so speaking of motivational speaking, so how did you get into that? What led you to down that road?
Motivational speaking. So I would say it started when I was a kid. I remember being in oratorical contests when I was 11, 12 years old. Because I used to I thought a lot, and it wasn't even about the speaking. It was about me expressing my thoughts and the concept, and challenging people to think differently. That was the big thing, challenging people to think differently, because we're in a society where so many people, they think just alike. and they feel like that they almost feel like it's right. Like they feel like their way is the only way. And so it started for me just wanting to challenge the way people think. So started that, but then I stopped for a while. Of course, when going through high school and college, I stopped speaking for the majority of the time. And then I got back into speaking again. Now, my life took another, I'm telling you, I've lived about 3 or 4 different lives.
Wow.
So my life took another twist after when I took the unpaid internship, right after the group home. At the same time, I started working with the ministry. And then I started working with the ministry, and then I was ordained through that, and I became a pastor, and I pastored the church for about 6 years. Now,
what?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
So that was one of my lives, and so now I'm not doing that anymore. Kind of, I wouldn't say I'm on the opposite spectrum of that, but not doing that anymore. But that furthered my love for speaking and teaching. Because I'm more of a teacher than I am a speaker. Like I love to teach. And so that furthered my love for teaching. And then I started I started to get people to ask me just to come speak at, of course, come speak at different churches. Then it was come speak at this conference, come speak this place. And I was like, okay, I'm getting really good, receptions for this. And I enjoy, giving my thoughts and teaching these principles. So that's what really started it for me.
Wow, it's so crazy that you said that because I was just going to ask you, do you think that you would enjoy teaching, like actually getting in a classroom? And I'm like, what? That's so crazy. No, you're in my head. You're in my head. I was gonna ask you that.
Speaking of teaching, I didn't even turn my light on.
Wow.
I had my light. I hope it went to go. So speaking of teaching, so I taught for a few years as well. So I did teach in the classroom for a few years.
Okay, so first of all, you can't be this old. You have had way too many jobs. Like, what's really going on?
I'm telling you, I told you. Look, I told you in the beginning, I done lived like 3 or 4 lives. So I taught for a while. I taught middle school and I taught high school.
Wow.
I enjoyed it. And again, so when I taught middle and high school, again, aligned with the population I love, I taught at an alternative school. And so, of course, schools, the kids go to when they get kicked out of public school. So,
yep, absolutely.
So I taught at an alternative school for a few years. I absolutely loved it. It was challenging. The kids can be crazy sometimes, but the kids weren't even the problem. Like the adults were the bigger problem to me.
Yeah. I can see that.
Kids are kids. Like kids, all kids really want and need is love and discipline. For real.
Absolutely.
But you can't have one without the other and expect them to be successful.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
So there's a lot of people that come in and they just want to love on the kids, but they don't set any boundaries. They don't get and they get run over. Then there are people that come in and they're just disciplinarians and they're just hard heads. Yeah. They just do this and that, and they're barking at the kids, but the kids won't respond to that either because they don't feel like you love them or care about them. And so
that's good.
So that's what I found out. That was a combination that really worked for me, being able to give them consistent love and discipline. And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I worked
at a high school.
You work at a high school?
I worked at a high school briefly for about 4 or 5 years in front office. So I interacted with them. I wasn't in the classroom, but I worked at a high school. And they do kind of pull at your heartstrings, working with them and just seeing them at that age. Like you said, they're so impressionable at that age. It's like they're like in between. They're, not young enough to not know any better, but they're old enough to make a difference and go, make a turn and pivot and, get on the right path. So I think that's really, really, my head goes off to teachers. I always say it. They have a really tough job, but it's so important and they're definitely undervalued and underpaid. And I think it's an awesome career.
Absolutely. I would say, honestly, if teachers got paid more, I would still be a teacher. They they don't get paid nearly as much as they need to, as much as they deserve. Because if you really understood what teachers do, see, teachers aren't just teachers anymore. They have to be teachers, they have to be babysitters, they have to be probation officers, they have to be police officers, they have to be referees. They have to be so much in the classroom. It's great. Just a few years ago, they were trying to get teachers to carry guns. And I'm like, oh, so now isn't that crazy? Like, it's crazy. But I got out of the school system, not because of the kids. I still love the kids. I had a bunch of clashes with the administration. And after a while, I was like, I'm not going to do this on your terms.
Yeah. Sometimes that can definitely be a problem. I'll agree to that. Yeah. They set the tone. It starts at the top. And it trickles down. So if if it ain't right up there, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be problems throughout. So I definitely understand that. Absolutely. Yes. Very, very important. Okay, so I want to talk about some things that you mentioned in your book. I want to talk about the chapters, animalistic, introducing the twins. How did you come up with these titles first and foremost? And just give us a little synopsis breakdown of what they're about.
Okay, so two chapters that I love. I'm gonna talk about those two in particular: animalistic and introducing the twins. Okay. Animalistic was, I started thinking about the human experience and just our lives in general. So I'm a very deep thinker. I can sit and think for hours, literally. And so I was thinking about it one day, and I said, and so another one of my pastimes, and give you a tidbit, things that I love to do. One of the things I love to do, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but sometimes when I turn on the TV, I love to watch the Discovery Channel and the Nature Channel and National Geographic. Like, I'm the type of person that, and this may sound a little bad, I hope it doesn't, but a show that I love is when animals attack. Like, I get so excited when I see people getting bit. Yes, I love it. Because first of all, let me tell you why I love it. Now, I'm not a violent person, but a lot of these people, like, you put yourselves in situations that you shouldn't. Like, what makes you think you're going to have encounters with wild animals and nothing else can happen? Like, it's our society. Like, we have that whole pet society here in America. I'm like, yo, these are dogs and cats, y'all. They are not. I get so excited when I see somebody about to get bit. I'm like, ooh, he gonna get him. He gonna get him. Like, that
is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
But so back to animalistic. So I remember watching. So I watch a lot of documentaries about animals, just seeing how they operate, how they live. Okay. And I remember watching this documentary about these lions. And just the family structure, the community structure, the hierarchy, like, it's very advanced. If you really get into it, like, it's very structured. There is order, there is hierarchy, there's discipline. Like, it's very advanced. And I started looking at it, and I'm like, wow, it reminds me a little bit of the human experience.
Wow.
However, they do the same things day in and day out, and that's their lives. That's it.
Oh wow.
There's no desire. You'll never see a lion standing on a mountaintop trying to inspire other lions or teaching them something other than what they teach. Being animalistic is very predictable, and it's very disciplined, but it's very predictable and it's very mundane. Wow. And then I started looking at some of our lives. I'm like, what's the difference between us and animals? Ooh. They take care of their young, we take care of our young. They go out and hunt to provide for the family, we go out and work to provide for the family. Everybody goes to sleep at about the same time. Everybody eats at about the same. And it was so many similarities. And that's when animalistic was born. Because I'm like, if you aren't really chasing a dream, not chasing a dream, but pursuing your purpose. Pursuing your purpose, doing something that's going to make other people better, that's going to make mankind better, that's going to make this world better. We were all created for a purpose. And if you aren't pursuing that purpose and doing something other than just going to work and coming home, you're animalistic. There's no difference between you and them. There's no difference at all. So that's how that title was born. Me just really watching National Geographic one day, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, it was a light bulb. And so,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's how that title was born. And going to the second one, introducing the twins,
Mhm.
it's kind of the premise of the whole book. I remember watching an interview on the Breakfast Club, and Ti was on there. You know, I don't watch many of them because some of them I'm like, whatever. But
Yeah.
I was on there, and it was a clip, and I didn't watch the whole interview. I just saw this clip circulating online.
Okay.
And Ti said they asked him, "Well, who are you? Because you've done this, you do this, you do like what?" He
Mm.
said, "I'm all of that." He said, "You cross me, I'll grab you in your collar." He said, "But I'll get finished with that, and I'll go home and read my children a bedtime story." He said, "Then I'll get up and go lead a march on Black rights, and then I'll get in the studio and say some of the most ratchet stuff you've ever heard in your life." He said, "But that's who I am authentically. All of that is me. It's not like I'm trying or pretending in any area.
Yeah.
Those are just different facets and the different outlets of who I am." And so introducing the twins, there's a lot of people that there's multiple sides of every
Yeah.
person, usually. And I say it like this: the me that you'll catch. So this past weekend, I was here. My brother came up with his family, had some other cousins that came through. So we were here just laughing, talking, having a couple of adult beverages, just doing things. We were just having fun. And I
Yeah.
thought about it. So instances like that, like that's authentically me. I love, the people that I love them. I love being around them.
Wow.
And so, but the us, and so this was all of my cousins are like around my age or a little older. And so we get together and we love to laugh. We love to have fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, that me is very authentic. However,
Yeah.
if I had to go speak in front of some dignitaries,
Mhm.
that me would be just as authentic. It would just be a different version of me. It would just
Oh, that's
it would
good.
just be a different part of me. Like the me that some people would see out with my friends hanging out is not the same me that you would see if
Mhm.
I was back in the day going to church with my grandma.
Yeah.
Still the same person, but it's just different aspects of me. And the twins, I started talking about the different aspects of people, and
Mm.
it's kind of ironic because even though I stress embracing the different aspects of you, I still stress being authentically you and not creating fake personas or fake
Yeah.
personalities or code switching, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because all code switching is white people wanting you to adapt to their culture, adapt to the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they think you should do things in order for them to accept you as
Yeah.
professional. And so code
Wow.
switching was born. If you're not going to go into the complete history, but code switching
Okay.
was born way back in slavery. Black people had to
Wow.
code switch to survive. We had to
Yeah.
put on a smile and act nice and act like we were reverent and respectable just to survive. That's where
Yeah.
code switching came from. So my whole message in this book is stop code switching. Be who you are. Find out who you are authentically and be your
Mhm.
authentic self. It's so much freedom in that. It's so much
Yeah.
liberation is in that. You cannot be who you're pretending to be if it's not you and reach the level of success that
Yeah.
you want to. Like I used the example. For example, I have books all over here in my office. If I wanted to put a picture up on my wall and I have a nail, I can take one of these big heavy books and use it to bang that nail into the wall. I
Mhm.
can do that. However, over time, it's going to damage that book because that's not what that
Mm.
made it for.
That's good.
I have to learn the proper thing to do to get a hammer and nail the nail into the wall. It's
Yeah.
not going to damage the nail. It's not going to damage the hammer.
Yeah.
That's what they were created for. And a lot of
That's what
times
it's good.
we're operating in spaces where we can do it, but over time
Oh, that's
it
good.
damages us because that's not what we were created for.
That is so good. Oh, that's deep and it's good. Mm,
We
that's
a lot
good.
of us look like a lot of torn up and tatted books because we've been not walking our purpose and doing something outside of what was intended and
Mm.
necessary for us.
Oh my gosh. That is so good. Oh. That's crazy. I think I saw that interview with Ti because I watch a lot of interviews. I feel like they are interesting because what you see in as far as people in entertainment, it's one thing. But when you really sit down and you talk to them, you hear them talk, you hear how they think, like it gives you a whole nother outlook on who they are. And I'm more interested in that than what you're, personifying, with the camera on, with all the, the lights and when you're, doing whatever you do. Like I just think it's so interesting sometimes, and then to figure out, to know what they went through, where they come from, like all that stuff helps me to, relate to them on another level. And you never know what somebody has gone through or is going through for that matter. So I think it's really important to get to know them on that level as well. And that I saw that interview as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So okay. What are upcoming events you have coming on, going on, upcoming projects, what you're working on? What are you doing present day?
So I have a few projects I'm working on. I'm in the middle of launching another college tour where
Okay.
I'm speaking at colleges all over the U.S., all over the
Oh
world. If you want
wow.
me to come, y'all listen, I will
Oh,
come. Just
cool.
ask me. Um, and so the college tour is really big. That's what's getting a lot of my time and attention right now. I'm in the
Okay.
midst of writing 2 more books
Oh my
at
gosh.
the present time. I just finished wrapping up and filming a movie that will probably
Okay.
be released later this fall. But those are the major things. And I'm working on another project. I'm not going to announce it yet, but all
Okay.
I'm going to say is um, I may or may not have an album coming out soon.
May or may not.
May or may not. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, so a few different things. But what I'm focused on, what's getting the most of my time and attention is the speaking tour and the books that I'm writing.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Well, I just want to really thank you for, coming on the podcast today. I thought that your book was very, very interesting. And like I said, it's so relatable and it's really what everyday people are dealing with today. So I'm like, man, I really got to have them on. This book is so real. Like it's real life. It's, it's reality. And I just want to thank you once again for, blessing us on this podcast episode. Hopefully we've helped somebody, hopefully we've motivated somebody because I think that having the courage to, step outside of, guarantee, money with your job as far as the technology field, because it's a booming field as well. I think that takes really a lot of courage, and I think that it's brave. And like you said, you gotta chase your purpose. You can't
You
chase money.
do.
You have to chase your purpose and figure out what it is that you're called to do, and make a difference in other people's lives as well as yourself.
Yeah. And
So how can people? Okay, go ahead.
let me say this real quick. I just want to say this
Mhm.
because I've run into, so I also coach entrepreneurs. I coach entrepreneurs and I
Okay.
coach my coaching started off with just coaching people on how to write books, like from the start,
Oh,
from formatting it, doing all that to get it
oh,
published. Like I take people through that whole process. But on the entrepreneur side, you're right. I did step out of corporate America, but let me tell people something. Listen, make a plan. Make a plan before you step out. Because I did. So I did it the first time, and I just decided one day I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And I left my job, and things got real hard, and and I wasn't prepared for it. So I went back to work. I went back to the people like, can you hire me, please?
it got
Listen,
real in the field.
real, real.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
listen, I gotta eat, but
I know that's right.
and I love to eat. So I would tell people prepare,
Yeah.
prepare, prepare. I know people. You hear all these great sound bits of just jump. The parachute open on the way down. Just jump. Don't jump. Don't jump. You
Yeah.
jump, you're gonna hit the rocks, and you're gonna hit the
Don't
rocks
jump.
hard. You need to be prepared for this. Okay, I know it sounds good,
It
but not.
does.
I encourage people to do it, but just prepare yourself and
Yeah.
understand it's gonna be different. Like I knew
Yeah.
what I was getting into. I left a
Mhm.
lot of guaranteed money. Like
Oh,
lot of
wow.
money, sitting there, a lot of money. But
Wow.
I was at the point in my life where I understood my purpose was bigger
Yeah.
than the money. So
Bigger.
I was willing
Absolutely.
to really put action behind what I was telling people. Like, look, this is how much
Yeah.
I believe in me. This is how much I believe in me and how much
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on me. But craft a plan. Like, don't just
Yeah.
jump out there and say you're going to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur with $234 in your bank account. That is not the move. That's not what you want to do with your life. I promise.
Not.
God didn't tell you that. God did not tell you that.
What you want to do with your life?
That's not what you want to do
Oh my
with your
God,
life.
I cannot.
But
Oh my
so
God.
just prepare. I just wanted to say that because a lot of people,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
glamorous. You're right.
Yeah.
My time is my own. Hear this. I work harder being an entrepreneur than I
Wow.
did on a job for somebody
On a
else.
job.
My job was 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur is
24/7.
till whenever it gets done.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
they don't pay you for your time; they pay you for your results as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's the difference.
Wow.
I just want to. I encourage everybody, or not everybody.
Yeah.
You think this
Because
ain't?
everybody's not built for it.
Everybody's not built for this. No, everybody's
Not built for it.
If you can't, I'm gonna be real with you. If you can't sit down and look at your budget and say, you know what, I'm just gonna eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches for the next couple of weeks because that's what it is. If that's not where you are in your life, this ain't for you.
Ain't for you. Absolutely. Okay, so tell people how they can get in contact with you, any websites, email address, social media, any platform where they can contact you and see, firsthand what you have going on and interact. Give them that information.
Absolutely. So listen, Kimberly, you got the exclusive. This is the first time I've ever said this on camera. So I'm about to launch the rebranding of my website, which is RashaadJ.com, RashaadJ.com. It used to be RashaadJohnson.com, and I just got tired of typing all of that. And so
I believe it.
RashaadJ.com is about to be relaunched. You can go to it now, or you can type in RashaadJohnson.com. It'll direct you to Rashaad J. Rashaad J is live, but over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see it change a little bit. So I can be reached always at RashaadJ.com, my website. Social media, you can find me at Rashaad IU. That's RashaadIU on Instagram, on YouTube, on Threads now. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I just got on it. On TikTok. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing up there yet either, but hey, I'm there. I'm there. Hey. Half of winning is just showing up. Half the battle. Showing up. So Rashaad IU. Now I was on Facebook too, but listen, these people done hacked into my Facebook account.
Listen,
these people
will do it.
I got so mad. I want to know who it is. I'm like, if I knew who it is, I promise you, I would be at your doorstep. This is just a violation. This ain't right.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. Yeah.
But
they will do it.
They will do it. As soon as I get my Facebook back, I'll be back there. Just my name, Rashaad Johnson. I don't know how I'm gonna rebrand that. Impact U was my business page on Facebook. But if I get back there, I'll be back there too. So I'm, y'all send out some prayers and positive vibes.
Listen to prayer warrior.
Yeah, to help me. But I'll be back there. But yeah, Rashaad J and then Rashaad IU on most social media platforms. That's how you can find me. So if y'all need a speaker for anything, hit me up. Call me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kimberly Speaking 8062. Until we speak again, be blessed.